it's UrsulasRevenge and welcome to today's tutorial video. A couple of months ago I have made an HD skin tutorial and apparently I didn't answer all the questions, so today we're going to cover how I texture the hair and potentially how I do the faces too. I have previously already streamed this tutorial. As you can see, everybody in the chat is on the screen now. If you want to know exactly how I do the HD hair, you can skip to this time in the video, and if you want to know how I do the eyes, you can skip to this time in the video. Let's get drawing. If any of the questions are unanswered, you can go ahead back to my old HD video. That'll be in the corner, the little eye in the corner. It's that corner. That'll be the little eye in the corner. You can go back to that video to see anything that you missed. For this tutorial, I am using Basically Bee's Minecraft skin. We're going to start with her head using the selection tool to highlight the area that we want to draw on. For HD skins, I use Photoshop, but GIMP is a free program that is very similar. Other programs will work. You just need to be able to work in layers, save images with transparency, and have a scaling resize option that keeps edges sharp. When I draw almost anything, I have a very particular technique, but you don't have to do it the way that I do. I layer everything base, dark, and light. The base is your background color for whatever you want to draw. The dark layer is the areas that you draw that are meant to be shadows, and the light are the areas that you draw meant to be highlights. I draw these in any color, typically white, because in Photoshop, by double-clicking the layer, you can apply a color overlay to the entire layer and change it to whatever you want. It makes your coloring really easy, so I don't need to redraw something if I make it the wrong color. You can also do a gradient overlay as well if you want that color fading effect. I show my technique in the first video pretty clearly. To start the hair, make a new layer. This is my base layer. Select the areas where the hair will be and flood it with a color. You'll see that I selected an area and made it gray. I did this to section off an area that's exactly a square, only so I had to texture one side of the skin. From there I can copy and paste it to the other sides. This is optional, but it saves me a little bit of time if you don't mind each side being textured identically. Next, make a second layer titled Dark. Using the brush tool, I use 4-point with 100% hardness. Paint vertical lines within the selection to draw your shadows, or lowlights. Remember that hair is never perfect, it's organic and it can be messy, so have fun and go crazy. Now, using the smudge tool, mine is 14 points with a hardness of 0%. Smudge the lines you drew to make them softer. Dragging the brush color outside of the selection area won't show up on the rest of the skin, but you will notice that smudging into the selection area leaves a little brushless border. I always try to smudge towards the outside of my selection area so they always reach the edges. Here, I double-click my dark layer to add a color overlay to make it easier for me to see the differences between it and the light layer we're about to draw. Now make a new layer for the highlights. For these, I make a squiggly band using vertical brush strokes. Now blend it, moving your brush in the same directions, vertically. I change the color overlay and opacity of the layers to see how they would blend over the base, even though these aren't my final colors. Then I grouped and duplicated the layers to cover every panel I needed. I merge the light and dark layers and use the smudge tool to blend them together better. Once everything is aligned, I select the hair base layer and invert it using Ctrl-Shift-I on PC or Command-Shift-I on Mac to select everything but the base hair layer. Delete the contents and you'll notice everything you want to stay will remain. This cleans up all the extra lines outside of the hair base area that I'm not going to need. Now you can go ahead and assign the correct colors to each layer using the color overlay option. I noticed my light layer was a little too thick. If any area of your light or dark layers are too thick or bold, use the eraser tool to erase only a little bit of the same pattern you drew. Then use the smudge tool on the erased edges to smooth it over. Now comes probably my favorite part, the hair that would fall over the torso. This part is a lot more fluid and you can be a little bit more creative than filling in square pixels. As always, make a new layer and select the area you're working in. To deselect an area within your selection, hold Alt while selecting. Now you can draw the shape of the hair and fill it in. It helps to use the eraser to clean up your lines. And just like the top part of the hair, use the same layering technique for the base, light, and dark layers. Draw, then smudge, then color or gradient overlay to choose the correct color. And that's all there is to HD hair. Moving on to the eyes, you can design them a bunch of different ways, but here's an easier one that I came up with. Start again with a new layer and select the eyelash area. Fill that with the color that you want. Next, keep the selection, but add a new layer. From here, take a darker color and holding down Shift, drag your brush along the inside of the eyelash selection to add a little square shadow. Remember this technique because I use it for every single part of the eye. Next, select the eye whites and add a new layer, fill it with your desired color, and add another layer for the shadow. Hold Shift with a slightly darker color to add your shadow. Iris, the same thing, but select the color you want for the eyes. The pupil is a tiny bit trickier. I measured a selection 4 pixels smaller within the iris selection from all sides. Make a new layer and color it a darker color than your iris. Next, add another new layer for a slight glare on the pupil. I used white diagonal brush strokes to add a little bit of a glare. Then I adjusted the opacity to make it a little less harsh. Finally, add one more new layer and draw circular glare spots for cute little anime eyes. I even added a little heart for fun. You could repeat this manually on the other side, or you can copy the selection, flip the canvas horizontally, and place the selection. Don't forget to flip the canvas back or your skin won't save correctly. And that is exactly how I make hair and eyes for HD skins. Obviously this was just my technique and you can come up with your own way to do it too. I can do my best to answer some questions in the comments, but I might not be able to answer them all, especially if I get a lot of the same questions multiple times. If you want to know how to size and upload your HD skin using more player models, my first tutorial video covered that, so definitely go ahead and check that out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and also don't forget to subscribe for some more stuff by me. You can also follow me on Twitch and hopefully tune into a live stream where you can ask me questions, chat and hang out while we play some games and occasionally do some art things. My link is in the description down below and I will see you guys next time.